And part of it is they don't think that we have the kind of student control in the classroom that will allow teachers to teach as effectively as they should. That is totally unacceptable, and we can't have that. This is concern that teachers shared, some teachers, that administrators not seen in the halls in the classroom, that Mr. Cosby, Mr. Larkin are frequently in Mr. Cosby's office. That came up several different times. And that's in the words of teachers. This is a Butler response. And Mr. Cosby does a good job of meeting with donors to raise money for our early college program, and that he was very, very good at trying to generate funding for that program. Another Butler response, communication with Brandon, if not face-to-face, is difficult. Through emails is a problem. Communication by phone hasn't worked too well in the last 2.5 years. This is another Butler response. This is about getting those teachers who are in the practicum placed in classrooms so they can observe instruction. It seems that we've dropped the ball on this time and time again, and quite frankly, for a while, nobody was responsible back and forth. And this is something that's been going on for a couple of years now, and really there's no excuse for this to happen, but it is happening. This is something they talk about. Two of the teachers here, Lori and Christine Rummert, are running. They're talking about the Butler partnership, talk about what Lori has done to make the early college program work. Short-range students are at Butler during the summer. I know they're there for the band program and for the program because Christine did the work. There's another part to this that was brought out and we did not share in this. It wasn't appropriate probably to share in this setting. There is no evidence to support the principal, supervision, administration, and instructional coaches. Again, we just haven't had direction in that area. That's a fall down area, so to speak. This again deals with leadership and instruction. Talk about the grade level and content team leaders. They haven't had meetings to set their direction, to know what to do, and it has been an ongoing problem. This is about getting out in the classroom, observing to improve instruction, to evaluate teachers. We have fallen down in this area. Not only is this unacceptable, it's a violation of the teacher work contracts through IEA. We do have some things that we have to do. This is a quote, that's why we have it in quotations here. A teacher said, Mr. Cosby instructed me to tell the 11th graders to guess on the district benchmark test because the benchmark are not aligned to what we do. He would take the heat for you. Well, I don't think he realized how much heat was going to be coming down for you. You can't guess on English and math when that's something you have to be teaching. Social studies, because we gave special permission, we can understand that. We can't understand that in language arts and mathematics. And to not teach what you're supposed to teach and then tell people to guess on it is a serious offense. And I don't know which teacher I want to add. This is another quote from a teacher. Mr. Cosby evaluates me. I think that I have had 3 informal observations with no feedback. I was evaluated by him last year, but all feedback was oral. Nothing written. That is a complete violation. That is completely unacceptable, and it just can't happen. And that's also a violation of the contract. There's another quote. I believe that I am on Cosby's evaluation list. I've turned in my goals. I never received my evaluation from last year. Now, that's deeper than you think, and I'm not going to explain it to you, but if you didn't get evaluated last year, or you didn't get your evaluation back, that's tough, and that's a serious kind of thing. there has been no feedback for this year. It's kind of hard to get teachers to improve unless they know what they're doing wrong. And it's unexcusable, it's inexcusable this year, because I don't know whether you know this. Because we're losing 4 schools, we're putting every administrator on notice. Every administrator is going to get a letter in December and another in January saying that they're subject to lose their job because of budget reduction or performance. We are evaluating every teacher based on a new rubric that will allow us to keep our best teachers and best administrators. We've never been able to do that before, but now with the new law, we don't keep teachers by seniority anymore. It's about performance. Same thing about administrators. And it's kind of hard to be fair to teachers if you don't evaluate them and give them the rating they need. You end up losing teachers who should have jobs. Because this is a career-breaking situation. So you got to get in the classroom, and you got to evaluate teachers. You got to give them feedback, because eventually you're going to have to rate them, and their rating will determine whether we keep them or we put them on the reduction in force list. So this is very serious. During staff meetings, he talks about a vision I believe in. He lets us do what we want. That's what a teacher said. Another teacher said, we have scary freedom here due to a lack of direction. I had to figure it all out myself. It is very difficult to figure out expectations here. No teacher, any school we have, should have to figure out expectations, because we've given every principal the directions, the guidelines, and the expectations. Okay? So no one should have to figure that out. They have principals meeting every month with Dr. Greenwood. She has multiple meetings, so nobody should be figuring out what the expectations are. Another teacher said there are no expectations here. And we're talking about teachers now. We're not talking about what Mr. Cosby may say to the students. However, the students hear me every year talk about expectations on performance, and I'm sure Mr. Cosby talks to them about performance, but the teachers are saying it doesn't matter what they do, and that's totally unacceptable. This is something somebody said about Mr. Larkin. He's always in the office with Mr. Cosby. I don't know about that, but that has come up too many times in comments. This is about the band here, and this is from the Butler teachers who went into the classrooms. This is what they said, that the band room was phenomenal because the teaching was phenomenal. We've had 2 audit teams in this school going to classroom observing teachers teach. And we've gotten a report back that we share with Mr. Cosby. So we think we have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the classrooms here. We think we have a pretty good idea of what the teachers were talking about. But we still have some other things to look at overall. Now, we took excerpts from some of the things people said. There were some other things people said, some bad, some good, but this is kind of a snapshot of just the overview we received back through the investigation. What I want to do now is to give you a chance to go to the microphones, line up at that line right there, or that one. If you're up here, raise your hand. We'll come to you, and you have a time now that you can talk. Let's do this. We'll start from
This is going to be so ugly.
this microphone
It's
here.
going to be interesting.
Then we'll go to this microphone. This is rotation. We'll go a person here, person here, and we'll keep rotating, okay? We'll start with you. If you can, for me, since you know who I am, tell me who you are. If you're a student or a parent, just let us know who you are. Because I need to know that.
I'm a junior here in Louisiana, and this is my mom. And I'm wondering if Mr. Cosby hasn't been doing his job and Larkin has been in his office just sitting there, why isn't everybody else's job on the line also?
Why is what?
Why isn't everyone else's job on the line also? If everybody has a job?
I think it's very clear that people here, after we finish this process, we'll be talking to some other people. Everybody at this school is kind of suspect in this whole situation. But it's very important that we evaluate these people, because if not, they will all lose their jobs. We don't want to be unfair to them, because you do have some good teachers here. Okay, but it starts from the top. And so we're dealing with that particular area. Now, we're not dealing with prior years today, but there's a history here. And we tried to work with this before. So we feel justified that we need to start at this particular point. But nobody is totally free here, because we started this school on the premise that there are parents and students in IPS who deserve the best school they can have. That's why we created the high school magnet. We told the principals that if kids are not behaving, send them back to their boundary school. We told them if they're not getting their lesson, they go back to their boundary school, because we want this place to be where students can study, can learn and not be harassed, and we want the teacher to challenge and teach them. And we have had some concerns about the teacher's ability to get the students where they need to be. We've also had concerns about the performance of the students, but we can't blame the students before we look at the adults. We have to look at Mr. Cosby, his team, the teachers, and everybody as we look at students. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Ms. Dixon. I am a parent. I have several questions and several points I would like to make. One of the points is that the Butler people say that classes are bad and the teachers let the children do whatever they want to. What is Butler students' expectations of our children? Do they expect them to act like, do they expect them to act like college students or high school and middle school students or suburban students or inner city students? That's one of my points I would like to make.
Well, let me answer that one first.
Okay.
What we'll do, you're going to have to come and ask some of them again, because we're going to go through, but we'll get all your questions. We expect them to be focused, we expect them to be engaged, we don't expect them to be playing and running around the room, we expect the teacher to be in charge, we expect students to have activities that engage them, what have you. There is no tag to that. In other words, I've been superintendent of township schools and schools in Fort Wayne. I've been principal, what have you. The prototype for a good classroom and a good school is not about location.
Okay, but it is also unfair for them to say that the classes are bad. They could use a better word than bad. Because I'm an educator myself, and I don't call children bad.
Yeah. Their behavior is bad.
Difficulties, but not bad.
Right, I think they were talking about the behavior.
It'll be a minute.
The person said that. The students could have said something, and the person interpreted it that way. But we have had enough feedback to know that the behavior was unacceptable. It was unacceptable, but it didn't have to be bad.
Okay, and another thing, the teacher does not know their expectation for the children in the classroom. Don't you think there's little of the teacher not knowing what the expectation is there on in their own?
Yeah!
And the teacher, a principal should tell the teacher, you need to expect this. The teacher should let the principal know, this is what I expect of the kids in my classroom when they're in my classroom. So, the teacher needs to own that responsibility.
We agree.
Also,
We'll come back to you. That's your class too. Let's go ahead. Good evening.
My question to you is, what you said that the teachers say, without the teachers being here to defend themselves, would that not be considered hearsay?
Yeah!
know,
Because they
if that's
can't be
coming
here.
from them